Okay, time to break this down. Okay. Okay, so, the hypersexual black man. So I'm going to be breaking it down in regards to dealing with this stereotype, and I'm also going to be looking at examples in terms of hip-hop, because that's what relates to my research. Okay? So we go to the first slide. So, first thing in terms of biology, so when I got asked about this, said, you know, in terms of being biological or some kind of social construct, 100% social construct. Okay? 100% social construct. Sorry, if you just type keep pressing, because there's, yeah. Okay, so, let me read this to you. To invoke the first principle of social construction, groups are real if people think they are real. They then behave in ways that they assume that groups are real, and then in doing so construct that reality. Okay? Gender, therefore, is a social construct. Race, therefore, is a social construct. We, in here, actually, our identities are formed of different social constructs.
Political!
Okay? But the question for now is, who makes these social constructs? Okay, second slide. Okay. So, I'm not going to go into, obviously, a big, deep history of slavery because we don't have time. Okay? But I'm just giving you a small example in terms of quoting one of the, British explorer in terms of what he thought about black people and black men. Okay? So, Sir Thomas Herbert, 1964, talking about black people. Oh, sorry, 34, sorry. They have beastly compilation and conjunction. So as considering the resemblance they bear with baboons, once I could observe, kept frequent company with women. They possess the souls of beasts. Okay? And this picture, you might have seen something like this before in terms of phonology, in terms of looking at this, the size of the skull and measuring intelligence. So right here, they bear resemblance with baboons. What he was also saying as well is that these black baboon-like people also slept with baboons. And the man was also surrounded by the woman. Okay, so this is first in terms of just even seeing black people. You've already made your decision. Okay, you've already made your decision. And people think, oh, probably, oh God, this is so long ago. Well, actually, this is still reminiscent now. This is a stereotype, a myth that is set to dehumanize. Okay? We go on to the next slide. We could think that was ages ago. People heard of the World Health Organization. Yeah? So respected organization, fact, scientific, etc. Well, 1953. Let's have a read of what they said. The wholehearted concentration on sex, which characterizes the African adolescence, is in the present of this writer's view merely one symptom of a general condition and sexual progress. Okay? Ooh, that was a bit quick. No, I actually put, we know who this person is? Yeah, Till. So obviously, the World Health Organization, oh, so then, therefore he was justified. They were justified in killing Emmett Till. Okay, so people that don't know the history in terms of Emmett Till that got killed, literally to the point where he was disfigured because he was supposedly flirting with a white woman in Money, Mississippi.
And he was 14.
And he was 14 years old. Okay, but then this explains it, doesn't it? Because they're obsessed with sex.
Yes.
So already we're getting these social constructions based on stereotypical myths. Okay? If you just click it once. Okay, so I'm just referring to Franz Fanon here, a psychiatric and also revolutionary writer, and he interviewed over 500 white men. And he was using word association, and what he found is that the white men characterized black people and black men as, in terms of biology, the penis, strong, athletic, potent, boxer, savage, animal, devil, sin. And whenever I say this in class, I always get my students to say, do you think anything has changed? with some of the images that you see on the TV now. Okay, and a lot of them actually agree. So what happens is that the black man basically becomes this sexual animal combined together. Okay, you can keep pressing. Okay, and what happens here, because this is not all negative, there's kind of a mixture of positive and negative in there, if you want to look at it that way, which I think actually presents a dichotomy, a love-hate dichotomy. And I found this out when I was actually doing research with white young people as well, that on one hand, white men will admire the black man in terms of being strong or muscular, etc., but on the other hand, envy also, and actually hate.
Yes.
Okay, so it's still happening with young people today, especially in terms of hip hop. I might maybe talk about it in the question Q&A. Okay, just one click. So when I was growing up, back the other day, but just one click for the picture. So when I was growing up, I was really into athletics and running. Okay, so people know who this man is? Yeah, Olympic Christie. So always watching TV and gunning for him, hoping that he would win. Do people remember his other name? Yes, Linford, the lunchbox. So while we may have been rooting for him in terms of winning the 100 metres, somehow somebody else was looking elsewhere while he was running. Okay, and from what I remember, most of them were wearing the same kind of outfits, but somehow with Linford Christie, we're now focusing in on the lunchbox. Okay, and even Linford himself said, well, that's one of my grievances with the media. I don't like it. Nobody ever goes on about Sonny Gallow's breasts. I think it's just disgusting. I don't like it at all. Okay? He's not done anything in terms of sex, but you're focusing on the lunchbox. Okay? So if we move on even to 2008, people remember this picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is LeBron, 2008 Vogue cover with Giselle. And it reminded people of the next picture. Yeah? So again, we've come back to the savage, animal, beast. Probably wants to have sex with her, you know, look at the pictures, look at the similarity of those pictures. So it's a controversial picture, but sums up all those historical myths, basically, about the hypersexual, angry black men, and also fear as well that we're going to take our white women. Okay? So, I could go into a history of hip-hop, but I'm not going to. But basically, what this has also done, this is now manifested in sports, but it's also manifested in music as well, in terms of hip-hop. And I'm just going to go through some of these pictures very quickly. I'm not even sure how much time I've got, but hey-ho. Oh my God, don't lie. Oh my goodness. This is Rick Ross, who done his song. I can't remember which song it was, but it was talking about drugging a girl and having sex with her, and she won't even know. This is Lil Wayne, who wants to sleep with every girl in the world. I say sleep, but it's really every girl in the world. And this is Flav, and the reason I put Flav there is because Flav, from Flavor of Love, started all of this with this reality TV stuff, okay, of the black man with lots of women, okay? And the thing is, he didn't actually start like that. If people actually knew the story, he actually started with Bridget Nielsen. That was actually a relationship, but it wasn't good enough. Let's give him all these girls, and we'll get straight back into that historical myth, okay? And what happens is when that picture and that representation is put out there, it starts to get internalized. It starts to get internalized by black men themselves, by black women, by everybody, okay? In terms of that's what they are.
I agree.
Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, you want to...
1 minute.
Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Right, so basically, we get used to this. We get used to this. Okay? But what black men are following is masculinity in terms of setting a white patriarchal society. Okay, in terms of how they define masculinity, black men are trying to get that. However, in terms of the issues of power, sometimes black men can't always exercise that masculinity in terms of being the breadwinner, etc. But one way they can do is through sex. Okay, so now this Maury, it's normalised. We expect him to be the dad, and he hasn't taken his responsibility. So I said I'm doing research right now, and it's on hip-hop how black men think about hip-hop. And one of the things I think we need to keep doing is we have a tendency to keep talking about black men, but not talking to black men, okay? And we need to do that in order to get an understanding of what this masculinity is about, what this hypersexuality is about. I'm just going to give you two pieces from my research. If you go on just to the next slide. So this is from a quote from a young boy, because it's an intergenerational study, the younger and the older group. And he's 19, and this is what he said about being a man, what hip-hop taught about being a man. It kind of teach you to be like this player, and you should have lots of girls, and they should be running after you, and you should be getting out all these nice cars and whatnot. That's what it taught me, boy. Yeah, I should have 3 girlfriends. Yeah, I sort of tried to go with multiple girls, and yeah, sort of listen to that music just to get the influence from it. Okay, next slide. But this is from an older guy in the old school cohort. And he actually questioned this, and he was actually questioning Caribbean culture as opposed to hip-hop. And he said, I'm not sure if this is directly to do with the music and stuff, but within our culture, there's this thing. At that time, it's important to try and sleep with women and get them pregnant. And if you get them pregnant, it's not your problem. And you've got older people who are older than you, but do this kind of foolishness as well. And almost to say, yeah, it proves that you're in this kind of demographic and you're accepted into this cultural group where you behave like this, in this pattern of being promiscuous. Okay? So, I would argue that maybe hip-hop representations are part of the problem, but they're not the whole problem. And what we've got is lots of different messages coming in from different places which reinforce these stereotypes. Okay? I think I'm getting there at the end. Is that it? No, never mind. There you go.